Imagine a country where the president once declared himself the protector, renamed a month after his mother, and banned black cars simply because he liked white. Sounds like a dystopian novel, right? Well, welcome to Turkmenistan, a place that might just be the most insane dictatorship on earth. Turkmenistan, a country so bizarre, so secretive, that it's often called the North Korea of Central Asia. Today, we're diving into the facts, the weirdness, and the downright insanity of Turkmenistan, so stick around to discover why. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride. First, let's set the stage. Turkmenistan is a Central Asian country bordered by Iran, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and the Caspian Sea. Historically, this area was part of the Silk Road, a key trade route that connected the East and West. With a population of around 6 million, Turkmenistan is home to some of the most hospitable people you'll ever meet. However, their lives are anything but easy, thanks to the iron-fisted rule that's been in place since the Soviet era. So how did Turkmenistan become a modern-day prison? After the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, Saparmurat Niyazov, also known as Turkmenbashi or the father of all Turkmens, took control. He quickly established a cult of personality, plastering his face on every building, currency, and even the nation's vodka bottles. He wasn't just content with statues though. Niyazov took things to a whole new level. He banned beards, required everyone to take a driving test to prove they could recite his book, the Runama, and mandated that white cars were the only acceptable choice. Yep, white cars. If you owned a black car, too bad, you were forced to repaint it. Why? Because white was his favorite color. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Here are some of the weirdest rules Turkmenistan has to offer. The gold statue of Niyazov, which stood in the capital city of Ashgabat, was one of the most striking examples of this personality cult. The statue was made of solid gold and was designed to rotate so that Niyazov's face always faced the sun. This massive monument was intended to symbolize Niyazov's eternal presence and guidance over the Turkmen people. For years, the statue was a central feature of Ashgabat's skyline, representing the excesses and absurdities of Niyazov's rule. After his death in 2006, the statue was moved from its prominent position, but remains a powerful reminder of the dictatorship that has shaped modern Turkmenistan. Lip-syncing was also banned. Yes, you heard that right. In 2005, Niyazov banned lip-syncing at public events because it was a negative influence on the development of Turkmenistan's culture. In addition to this long list, the Runama, a book Niyazov wrote, became mandatory reading in schools, workplaces, and even required knowledge for getting a driver's license. And don't even think about smoking in public. Niyazov banned it after he quit smoking himself. Now let's run a quick poll. If you lived in Turkmenistan, which of these rules would drive you the most crazy? 1. The white cars only rule. 2. The mandatory Runama driving test. 3. The no lip-syncing policy. Write down in the comment section below. Life in Turkmenistan is far from easy. The country consistently ranks among the worst in the world for human rights. Freedom of speech, non-existent. The media is state-controlled, and internet access is heavily censored. The government tolerates no political pluralism, independent media, or non-governmental organizations. Authorities jail perceived opponents and government critics. The fate and whereabouts of dozens of victims of enforced disappearances remain unknown. Authorities strictly monitor access to information. The state owns or controls all print and electronic media. Social networks and messaging apps are blocked. The country remained closed to independent foreign and Turkmen media outlets. Turkmenistan's government continued to arbitrarily deny its citizens' right to freedom of movement. Foreign and domestic travel is heavily restricted and monitored. Unemployment is another major issue, though you won't hear about it on state TV. Most of the population struggles to make ends meet, while the elites live in opulent palaces. The leadership maintains its grip on power through fear, propaganda, and ruthless suppression of dissent. In fact, Human Rights Watch describes Turkmenistan as one of the world's most repressive countries. So, let's take a moment to reflect. Can you imagine living in a place where even speaking your mind could lead to imprisonment? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now you might wonder, how does a country with such extreme control survive? The answer? Oil and gas. Turkmenistan sits on the fifth largest reserves of natural gas in the world, which provides the regime with the wealth it needs to keep the population subdued. However, despite this wealth, the majority of Turkmen citizens live in poverty. The profits from these resources are siphoned off by the ruling elite, leaving little for infrastructure, healthcare, or education. Fast forward to today, little has changed since Niyazov's death in 2006. His successor, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov, continued many of the same policies, maintaining tight control over the population. He's even added a few quirks of his own, like showcasing his supposed equestrian and DJ skills on state TV. Serdar Berdimuhamedov took office in March 2022, succeeding his father, Gurbanguly. Serdar's rise to power was widely seen as a continuation of the dynastic rule established by his father. Under Serdar's leadership, many of the repressive policies and practices that characterized his father's regime remained in place. There has been little indication of political reform or a loosening of the strict controls on freedom of speech, the press, and other civil liberties. The country continues to be one of the most isolated and controlled societies in the world, with the government maintaining tight control over all aspects of life in Turkmenistan. With this government, the future of Turkmenistan remains uncertain. The regime's grip on power seems unshakable, but the cracks are beginning to show. International pressure and awareness are growing, but real change will likely need to come from within. If you found this video eye-opening, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends to raise awareness, and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the world's most unusual places. And don't forget to participate in the quiz in the community tab. Let's see how much you've learned. Thanks for watching, and remember, knowledge is power, even in the most insane dictatorships on Earth.